So, a very good evening and warm welcome to all on the day 4 of our ATAL sponsored FDP on Next Gen Communication Technologies and Application hosted by DES Institute of Management Development and Research. Hope you all had a wholesome retreat on day 3. And let's take a quick look back. Yesterday, we had Dr. Vibha Vyas, who guided us on communicating communication technologies effectively, emphasizing on how clarity, audience adaptation, and relatable examples can make even the most technical subjects impactful. Later, we had Mr. Abhijit Lime, who provided a practical understanding of the DPDP Act and consent management framework, highlighting its role in safeguarding data, ensuring compliance, and building trust in communication. With these takeaways, we now move on to our day 4. Our first session, session 7, addresses a crucial aspect of modern communication, cybersecurity in next gen communication. Our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Aniruddha Pense, founder of Wireless Data and Technologies. Mr. Pense founded this particular company in June 2003 and has been leading it over 22 years. Prior to that, he was manager at Tata Honeywell for more than a decade. Mr. Pense is alumnus of Maharashtra Institute of Technology, holding a bachelor's degree in electronics and telecommunication, with deep expertise in cloud security, computer forensics, and technology leadership. He has established himself as a seasoned professional in the field of next gen communications and data security. We're honored to have him with us today to share his insights on this critical domain. And now I request Sir to please commence the session.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for what I believe will be one of the very important discussions we'll have this year. Yeah, actually this year. We are, I will be talking on the challenges. We will call it challenges because many people don't like it being called as threats. So we'll see. We'll say challenges. Okay, we are standing at an unprecedented crossroads in the technology. I feel the communication technologies emerging today will be defining the next decade of human interactions and business operations. Global connectivity also. But with these incredible opportunities also come equally significant risks. Today, we will spend next 90 minutes exploring the cybersecurity challenges that will shape our digital future from 2025 to 2030, let's say. Okay. See, this is not just about theoretical threats. These are real, imminent challenges that organizations worldwide are already beginning to face. Okay. Now, see, I want you to think about this. Every technology that connects us also creates a pathway for those who wish to harm us. Today, we will examine exactly what those pathways look like and what we can do about them. Okay. Now I will share the presentation which I have made. I will share the screen here. Just a moment. Give me a moment. Okay. Let's start. Let us start with fundamental truth that governs our digital age. The truth is, the same forces driving innovation are simultaneously creating our greatest security vulnerabilities. Okay, when we talk about the rapid evolution of communication technologies, we are not just discussing faster internet or clearer video calls. We are talking about technologies that will fundamentally change how we work, live, and interact with the world around us, right? Because having only a very fast internet has no meaning unless and until it has some application in our life. Correct. But now, at the same time, here is the challenge. Now, this is backed by extensive, what I'm saying is this challenge is backed by extensive industry analysis and expert insights from the security firms. What is it? Every leap forward in connectivity expands what we call the attack surface. This word you will hear in cybersecurity domain always. You will always remember attack surface. If you search on the Google attack surface, you will see thousands and lakhs of documents related to cybersecurity and the recent threats to the uh, applications. Okay. Simply put, more connections mean more ways for bad actors to get in. Okay, we are developing new technologies. No doubt we are progressing, but at the same time, bad actors are also with us, and in fact, one step ahead of us. What makes this particularly concerning is the speed of adoption. Unlike earlier technology transitions that took decades, we are seeing organized this the same transition. We are seeing organizations implement this new technology in months and not years. Earlier, it used to be years. In maybe in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we saw the transitions. But now this transition we are saying that transition is in months. Okay. The why this is, I mean, this pressure to innovate often outpaces the time needed to implement proper security measures. What has happened in case of 5G? You know, under the pressure to innovate and implement 5G, we have implemented, no doubt, we have implemented 5G, but then there are threats along with it. Throughout today's sessions, I will be categorizing threats by technology type, giving you specific details on the potential risk and real-world implications. By the end of our time together, you will have a clear roadmap of what is coming and how to prepare for it. All right? Yeah. So let's move ahead. 6G, will be talking about 6G networks. You will see here sophisticated cyber attack. I have taken down these points and I will be talking on these points one by one. You can see the points here, sophisticated cyber attacks. This is related to 6G networks. The 6G has not come yet, but then it is being developed and it will be there in maybe coming 2-3 years or so. Okay. Okay. Now, let us see most sophisticated threats, how they emerge. First, let me paint a picture of what 6G will enable. We are talking about networks that don't just carry data. Okay, even 5G also. In the era of 6G, and we'll talk later on about Wi-Fi 7 and 8. We are not talking about only the speed. This 6G will have integrated artificial intelligence also that makes decisions about routing, quality of service, and resource allocations in real time. They will include sensing capabilities that can detect everything from your location to, say, your biometric data. Okay, this integration with critical infrastructure is where the first major threat emerges. Unlike today's networks that primarily handle communications, 6G, this is very interesting. 6G will be directly connected to smart city infrastructure. Similarly, autonomous vehicle systems and critical industrial controls. Okay. What we are looking at is the sophisticated cyber attacks and data breaches and vulnerabilities in case of 6G. Imagine this scenario. An attacker gains access to the AI component managing a city's 6G network. See, remember, this is not only a question of crashing some website. This is the attacker is gaining access to the AI components managing cities 6G network. They could be potential manipulate traffic systems. Okay, emergency service communications and even autonomous emergency response vehicles. Right? We are talking about real world physical consequences. Then the second major concern is what we call high density deployment vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities from high density, that is the second point on the slide. 6G networks will require an enormous number of small cells. You know, what is cell? Think of them as a mini cell tower. A cell, you think of them as mini cell towers that might be on every street corner, in every building. Each of these represents a potential attack point because the number of points when they are high, the risk also is high. Okay. Now, see why this is particularly concerning. These small cells will often be in the locations that are difficult to secure physically. Here also in the cities, you see the 5G towers or even LTE 4G towers. They are located in a very congested area or wherever it requires it to be installed. That place may not be suitable for approach also, and difficult to secure also physically. An attacker with the physical access to just one compromised small cell, that means the tower, if you say a small cell, could potentially intercept communications from everyone in the area or use it as a launching point for some kind of application programming interface exploits against the broader networks. Once he gets into the network through a small cell, that say tower, he can exploit that and use it as a launching point, and then he can enter into the larger area. Okay. Now, the third one is AI specific risks. Uh, this is because of this is a very entirely new territory. The AI integrated into 6G networks will be making decisions based on data it receives. But what happens when the data is poisoned? An attacker could feed false information to the network's artificial intelligence, causing it to make decisions that benefit the attacker. Right? Perhaps routing sensitive communication through the compromised infrastructure. Even more concerning is the potential for biosensing data in exfiltration. 6G networks will be capable of detecting biometric information. Uh, yeah, we are talking about AI specific risks. What we are talking about is the AI causing it to make decisions and the benefit the attackers. I will say it is more concerning is the potential for biosensing data exfiltration. 6G networks will be capable of detecting biometric information. Okay, your heart rate, breathing patterns, even stress levels. Nowadays, your smart watches also has the stress level measurement sensors. These will be connected to the 6G networks in the future. That is what it is. And that could, in the wrong hands, this information could enable sophisticated identity fraud, okay, or privacy violations. We even cannot imagine right now. Right now, 6G network technology is based on network slicing. Okay. One of the most promising feature it creates entirely new attack vectors. Actually, this slicing is done for the benefit of better bandwidth, but at the same time it creates entirely new attack vectors for the bad guys. Okay, network slicing allows the creation of custom network segments of for different applications. For example, if you are having a maybe some sort of video, then in the same 6G, the 6G network protocol, I will say, or the technology has the capability of dividing 6G into different channels, and each channel can be allocated to various applications or various needs. Okay, now network slicing allows the creation of custom network segments for different applications, what I'm saying. But if the attacker can hijack one of these slices, they could use it for unauthorized access to other network segments also laterally. Okay, if the attacker can control one slice, he can laterally take control of other slices also, because of inherent problems right now in the 6G. Of course, it is under development, but then when we don't know when it is implemented, how it will be implemented, etc. And it will create a massive distributed denial of service attacks. When attacker takes control of any particular slice in the 6G network, it can launch massive distributed denial of service attacks. The sophistication required for these attacks is high, but the potential impact is also very high. Okay, so this is about 6G networks, and we are talking about the threats in the coming technologies and different technologies coming in the future, and various threats uh, associated with the technology. Uh, Now, see, communication with the satellite uh, represents one of the most significant changes in how we think about network security. You know, companies like SpaceX with Starlink, Amazon with Project Cooper, and others are deploying thousands of satellites that can communicate directly with your phone, your IoT devices, and even your car. And this is all without any ground-based infrastructure. Okay, this is revolutionary, especially in the remote areas. But from the security perspective, it is terrifying. And why? Because, see, traditional network security relies heavily on controlling the infrastructure, right? We secure data centers, we monitor network traffic, we have physical security around critical components. But what about satellites? They are about 340 miles or so above us, completely inaccessible for physical security measures, and often operating in environments where traditional security monitoring is impossible. So the first major threat for this kind of communication is signal spoofing. Signal spoofing and manipulation. What is it now? Unlike ground-based networks where it is difficult to impersonate cell tower, satellite signals can be more easily spoofed by sophisticated attackers. They could fake satellite signals to inject malware directly into the devices or hijack device communications entirely. Now, think about this scenario. Let's say you are in a remote location, your device connects to what it thinks is a legitimate satellite, but it is an attacker system. Every piece of data you transmit, emails, financial information, location data, biometric information goes directly to the attacker. Uh, this is very dangerous. Data interception is another massive concern. In remote areas where satellite communication might be the only option, these transmissions are particularly vulnerable to eavesdropping. Unlike ground-based networks that often have multiple layers of encryption and security monitoring, satellite communications in remote areas may have minimal protection. Uh, the integration of satellite communication with existing device ecosystems amplifies uh, DDoS and advanced persistent threat risk. No, if an attacker can compromise satellite modems in thousands of devices, they could create a botnet also that will reach globally and extremely difficult to shut down. Perhaps most concerning is the issue of RF interference and physical inaccessibility. Satellites can be jammed, their signals can be interfered with, and once they are deployed, they are extremely difficult to update or patch. A vulnerability discovered in satellite firmware could persist for the entire operational lifetime of that satellite, potentially maybe for 15, 20 years or so. Right? So we are essentially creating a global network infrastructure that we can't easily secure. That is what we had talked in earlier, that we are going ahead with so much of pace that we don't have time to secure that technology. That is what is happening actually. Uh, the convenience is, of course, undeniable, but the security implications are staggering. Okay. Uh, we'll see. We have covered RF interference here. We'll go to the next slide, which I feel which is Wi-Fi 7 and 8, Wi-Fi specification 7, 8, and edge computing. Can you see this slide? Hello.
Yes, sir. We can see
Yeah.
Wi-Fi 7, 8 and edge computing
Yeah.
slide, sir.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Now let's bring the discussion back down to earth. Okay. But that to something that might be even more concerning. The billions of edge computing devices that will be processing data at the network edge. This is very dangerous. You know what edge computing is? The edge computing is actually a distributed control system. Every end device has its own processing capacity with of course connectivity. Wi-Fi 7 and upcoming Wi-Fi 8 also standards promise incredible performance improvements. We are talking about speeds that make current Wi-Fi look like dial-up networks, dial-up internet. Earlier days, we used to have 56.6 kbps modem and etc. Now, what I'm saying is that this Wi-Fi 8 standard promise incredible performance. Okay. But they are being deployed alongside edge computing architecture that fundamentally change where and how data is processed. Instead of sending data to centralized cloud servers, edge computing processes data right where it generated. That may be in your office or in your factory or your smart city sensors also. This reduces, what is the advantage here? This reduces the latency dramatically, but it also creates what I call a distributed weak point. Thousands or millions of processing nodes that each represent a potential attack target. The expanded attack surface, which is created because of this, is the first major concern. Internet of every IoT sensor, every edge computing node, every smart device becomes a potential entry point for the bad guy. Unlike traditional networks where you might have few hundred servers to secure, edge computing networks have thousands or billions of endpoints which have to be secured, which is which looks like impossible right now. Okay, now I will tell you the real world example. A manufacturing facility suppose it deploys thousands of IoT sensors throughout their production line, each with edge computing capabilities to process data locally. Now, if an attacker compromises just one of the sensors, they could potentially gain access to production schedules, quality control data, or even inject malware into the production process itself. Infrastructure exploitation is another critical threat. Hijacked edge devices can be used for crypto mining. Imagine thousands of compromised smart city sensors being used to mine cryptocurrency, degrading city services while generating profit for attackers. They can be formed into botnets for distributed attacks or used for unauthorized traffic monitoring. So this is a cyber physical nature of edge deployment that makes node tampering and eavesdropping particularly dangerous. Unlike traditional IT attacks that primarily affect data, attacks on the edge computing devices can have immediate physical consequences. A compromised edge device in a healthcare setting, for example, could affect patient monitoring system. In robotics application, it could cause a physical harm. If suppose a robot is hacked by someone from outside, it can, that robot can harm the person working on it. Or in case of healthcare, there was a case registered, a pacemaker was hacked. And of course, there was no harm done to that the patient, but the pacemaker was hacked. So these kind of things can happen. Wi-Fi specs 7 and 8 introduce their own specific vulnerabilities. Power management, another issue because of the high-speed devices. You need power management, proper power management. This feature designed to extend device battery life, and that could be exploited for power-based attacks. The high throughput environments these standards enable may not have adequate security measures. The focus on speed often comes at the expense of security. So what makes this particularly challenging is the sheer scale. We are not talking about securing hundreds of devices. We are talking about securing billions of devices, many of which will be deployed in unsecured physical locations with minimal monitoring capabilities. So these are all Wi-Fi specific issues. Upgrades may introduce power-based, like I said, power-based exploits or inadequate security. We are now going on the 7th slide, which is AI new territory, a most significant paradigm shift in cybersecurity, AI-driven communication system. The artificial intelligence is not just improving is not for only our improving communication tool. It is fundamentally changing how communication works. We are moving from systems where humans make decisions about what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, to systems where AI makes many of these decisions autonomously, right? This transformation brings incredible benefits. Personalized experiences in case of customer care, predictive assistance. In case of manufacturing, there is a thing called predictive maintenance. That also can, this can be done with AI. Automated responses that can handle complex queries. Now, along with this, it also introduces attack vectors that we are still learning to understand and defend. The challenge with AI-driven system is that they can be attacked in ways that traditional systems cannot. We are used to defending traditional systems. Now, this AI-driven system, they can attack in ways that traditional systems cannot. You can poison their training data, manipulate their decisions, or trick them into revealing information that shouldn't be revealed, right? Uh, because these systems are often making decisions autonomously, the impact of these attacks can be amplified far beyond what we have seen with traditional systems. Okay. We'll examine three critical areas: agentic and multimodal AI systems that operate independently across different types of media, voice activated, and omni-channel platforms that integrate multiple communication channels, and AI personalization systems that use vast amounts of personal data to customize experience. Each of these represent not just new technology, but a new category of threats that require fundamentally different defensive approaches. Okay. We are now describing on slide number 8, agentic and multimodal AI. Let's talk about what might be the most significant development in AI, that is autonomous agents that can operate independently across different types of media and systems. When I say agentic AI, I am talking about systems that don't just respond to your request. They actively pursue goals, make decisions, and take actions on your behalf. These are not chatbots that answer questions. These are full-fledged AI systems that might manage your calendar, conduct business negotiations, or even make financial decisions for your company. Uh, Multimodal capabilities mean these systems can work with text, voice, images, video, and potentially other forms of data simultaneously. An AI agent might analyze a video conference, read accompanying documents, listen to voice notes, and then take actions based on all this information. The potential for data poisoning and goal manipulation is enormous here, you can see. Unlike traditional software where you define exactly uh, what the program should do, AI agents learn from data and experiences. Okay. If an attacker can corrupt the learning process by feeding false information into the system or manipulating the AI's memory of past interactions, they can redirect the agent's behavior toward malicious goals. Right? Imagine an artificial intelligent agent that manages supply chain logistics for a major corporation. If an attacker can poison its decision-making process, they could redirect shipments, manipulate inventory levels, or even cause the AI to approve fraudulent suppliers. Right? Uh, privilege compromise and tool misuse represent another critical threat. Tool misuse. These AI agents will need access to various systems and tools to accomplish their tasks. But that is for sure. But what happens when an agent has more privileges than it should, or when an attacker finds a way to manipulate the agent into misusing its legitimate access? Consider this scenario. An AI agent with access to your company's email system, customer database, and financial systems get compromised. The attacker doesn't need to breach each system individually. They can simply manipulate the AI agent to abuse its existing access rights. Information disclosed through this kind of multimodal interaction is particularly concerning because it can be subtle and difficult to detect. An AI agent might inadvertently reveal sensitive information through voice responses, include confidential data in generated images, or leak information through patterns in the text generation. For example, an AI agent might be trained on your company's internal documents, right? Even if it is not supposed to reveal confidential information, an attacker might be able to extract that information through careful, crafted queries to the AI agent or by analyzing patterns in the AI's response, right? Protocol vulnerabilities are also emerging as new standards like model context protocols. These protocols define how AI agents communicate with each other and with external systems. But they are new, they are complex, and they are being implemented rapidly. That is the point. That is the point. Each new protocol represents potential entry point for cyber intrusions. The independence the independence that makes these AI agents so powerful also makes them particularly dangerous when compromised. Unlike traditional systems where you can immediately shut down the component which is compromised, AI agents might continue operating and making decisions even while under attack, right? After this multimodal AI agent will shift to voice activated and omni-channel platforms that represent another frontier where convenience and security are in direct tension. We are moving towards a world where you can speak to any device and it will understand and respond. Your phone, your car, your home appliance, your office equipment, everything becomes voice enabled. Simultaneously, omni-channel platforms are integrating all your communication channels, chat, email, video, social media, that uh, being integrated into seamless unified experiences. The convenience is undeniable, but at the same time, again, the security implications are staggering. Voice spoofing and deep fakes. Now, these words are, everybody knows these words right these days. Deep fakes and voice spoofing are becoming increasingly sophisticated. We are already seeing AI systems that can replicate someone's voice with just a few minutes of sample audio. In voice activated world, this means an attacker could potentially impersonate you to access your system, make purchases, or even conduct business on your behalf. Uh, I will tell you the scenario that keeps security experts awake at night. Uh, Difficult, See this scenario. An attacker records your voice during a video conference, uses AI to create a voice model, and then uses that model to access your voice authenticated system. Your own voice becomes the weapon and that against you. Uh, Replay and dolphin attacks represent more immediate threats. Replay attacks involve recording legitimate voice commands and playing them back again later. And dolphin attacks use ultrasonic frequencies, sounds you cannot hear, to trigger voice commands on your devices. Imagine walking past a building where an attacker is broadcasting ultrasonic commands. Your phone in your pocket receives these inaudible commands and starts executing them, sending messages, accessing accounts, or transmitting your location data. Omni-channel platforms amplify these risks because they create unified attack surfaces. If an attacker compromises one communication channel, they potentially gain access to all channels. Malware that enters through a chat system could spread to your email, video calls, social media platforms, everything. The integration also enables sophisticated phishing attacks that span multiple channels. Attacker might start with a chat message, continue the conversation over email, and then request a video call to build trust before launching their attack. Recently, we have seen a lot of people have been, robbed because of some police agency calling them, and they are saying that you are in digital custody or something like that. Uh, with that, speech misinterpretation and command injection represent ongoing challenges that are difficult to solve. Voice recognition systems sometimes misunderstand commands, and attackers are learning to exploit these misinterpretations. They are also finding ways to inject malicious commands into what appears to be a normal speech. For example, an attacker might include hidden voice commands in audio content, podcast, music, or even in background noise in the public spaces. Your device hears these commands, and executes them. You can't hear them, but your device, your phone, uh, or your maybe smart watch also executes command. Uh, Even though, of course, you never intended to give those commands. This always listening nature of these devices, what Alexa and Gemini and other agents are doing. Always listening nature of these devices create persistent privacy and security risks. Even when you think these devices are off, many are still listening for wake words. What wake words are? They are scanning for these words. This creates opportunities for unauthorized surveillance and data collection. Okay, this is called command injection. We are shifting to slide number 10. This is very interesting. Immersive and neural interfaces. Recently I was reading a book by I don't remember now. This is dedicated to immersive and neural interfaces. So that is why I have included this here. That point. I when I was reading this, I felt that this must be the final frontier of cybersecurity. Direct interface between technology and human consciousness. Can you imagine? Immersive and neural interfaces represent the next phase of human-computer interaction. We are not just talking about using devices. We are talking about devices that can read our thoughts, influence our perceptions, and integrate directly with our neural processes. This is not science fiction. When I was reading that book, I felt this is a fiction, but then the author had stated a few experiments under there's some research is going on where brain computer interfaces were already being tested for medical applications. Augmented reality and virtual reality systems are becoming sophisticated enough to blur the line between the virtual and real. Personal AI devices are being designed to monitor and respond to our biometric data continuously. So all these devices are already being interfaced with our body senses, you can say. The security implications of these technologies are unlike anything we have faced before, I feel. When systems can read your thoughts, influence your perceptions, and access your biometric data, the concept of privacy fundamentally changes. The potential for harm extends far beyond financial loss or data theft. We are talking about threats to human autonomy and consciousness itself. The three areas we'll examine. One is spatial computing, AR, VR integration, brain computer interface, and personal AI devices. Each represent not just new technologies, but new categories of human vulnerabilities. These are not theoretical future threats. Companies are investing billions in these technologies already, and early versions are already being deployed. The question is not whether these threats will emerge, it is whether we will be prepared when they do. Right now, we are not prepared. That is what I feel. Let us look at the brain computer interfaces, BCIs. Let me be very direct. Brain computer interfaces represent the most significant cybersecurity challenge humanity has ever faced. We are talking about technology that directly accesses human thoughts and neural patterns. Companies like Neuralink or Synchron and others are developing systems that can read brain signals and translate them into digital commands. Okay. The medical applications, of course, are revolutionary, helping paralyzed patients control computers or prosthetics with their thoughts. But the security implications are terrifying. Let us start with adversarial attacks and what researchers are calling brain hacking. If a system can read your thoughts, what happens when an attacker gains access to this system? They could potentially access your memories, your private thoughts, your emotional states. But it gets worse. They might also be able to inject false information directly into your brain. Imagine this scenario. You have a brain and computer interface that helps you control smart home devices with your thoughts. An attacker compromises the system and starts injecting false sensory information. You might think you are seeing, hearing, or feeling things that are not real. The line between external reality and manipulated perception disappears here. Signal manipulation could potentially be used to seize control of not just the device, but aspects of cognition itself. While we are still learning about these possibilities, early research suggests that electrical stimulation of certain brain regions could influence decision making, memory formation, or even emotional responses. The wireless connectivity that makes these systems practical also makes them vulnerable. Most brain-computer interfaces use Bluetooth or similar wireless protocols to communicate with external devices. These wireless connections represent potential attacks for device takeovers or brain data exfiltration. Think about the value of brain data to malicious actors. Your thoughts, your memories, your emotional responses, your decision-making patterns. This is the ultimate personal data. In the wrong hands, this information could be used for manipulation, blackmailing, or identity theft on an unprecedented scale. Privacy invasions through brain tapping threaten the very concept of mental autonomy. The human mind has always been one space that remained private, right? Where our thoughts were our own. But now BCI potentially eliminate that final barrier. But here is what makes this particularly concerning. Unlike other cybersecurity threats that primarily affect our digital lives, brain-computer interface security breaches could directly affect human consciousness and autonomy. We are not talking about losing money or having data stolen. We are talking about losing control of our own minds. We are used to seeing this kind of scenarios in TV serials like CID, and I used to laugh watching them. But now it seems that it is coming into reality. The regulatory and ethical frameworks of brain and computer interface security are virtual non-existent. Right now, there is no regulatory or ethical frameworks because people do not know. We are deploying these technologies faster that we can understand their implication or develop appropriate protections. We are so fast developing this interface that we are not even thinking about regulatory and ethical frameworks. Even more troubling, the long-term effects of this interface security breaches are unknown. We don't know what will happen. If an attacker manipulates someone's brain signal, could it cause lasting psychological or neurological damage? We don't know. This is not meant to be alarmist. This technology has incredible potential to help people, but we need to understand that we are crossing a threshold that can never be uncrossed, right? Once we connect human brains directly to the digital networks, we create vulnerabilities that go to the very core of what it means to be a human. Because the brain is the one which differentiate human from other machines or even other animals, right? If you are connecting your digital system network to your brain directly, is just imagine what will happen if someone takes over the control. Okay, now let's move ahead with quantum communication, quantum and secure communication. The next slide, slide number 12. This should be our best defense against this emerging quantum communication should be the best defense against these emerging threats, quantum and secure communication technologies. Okay. Unfortunately, even our most advanced security technology come with their own vulnerabilities and implementation challenges. Quantum communication and post-quantum cryptography represent the cutting edge of security technology. Quantum key distribution, QKD, promises theoretically unbreakable encryption. Nowadays, this encryption also is being decrypted by bad guys. Quantum key distribution, QKD, promises, theoretically, of course, right now, unbreakable encryption. Post-quantum cryptographic algorithms are being developed to resist attacks from quantum computers. This should be our salvation, but the reality is more complex. The quantum threat to existing encryption is real and imminent. When quantum computers become powerful enough, they will be able to break most of the encryption we rely on today. This is not just a future problem, it is present problem because of what cryptographers call harvest now, decrypt later attacks. This is they call this a harvest now, decrypt later attack. Attackers are already collecting encrypted data with the assumption that they will be able to decrypt it once quantum computers become available. This is like a few years back, somebody somewhere on the planet had stored his dead body in the very low temperatures, thinking that someday there will be some process which can bring it to life again. Similar thing here. Any sensitive data encrypted with current methods that needs to remain secret for more than few years is potentially at risk now. QKD vulnerabilities are particularly concerning because they affect our most secure communication systems. QKD is theoretically unbreakable. This is theoretically unbreakable. Real world implementations have significant weaknesses. Although it is unbreakable in the real world, there are significant weaknesses. Side channel attacks can extract information from the physical devices without breaking the quantum encryption itself. Implementation flaws can create validation failures that compromise the entire system. Here is a real example. Researchers have demonstrated attacks against commercial QKD systems that exploit weaknesses in the hardware implementation. An attacker doesn't need to break the quantum encryption. They just need to exploit flaws in how the system is built. Adoption gaps create what security experts call crypto agility problems. Organizations are upgrading to quantum resistant systems gradually, creating hybrid environments where some systems are quantum resistant encryption and others are not. These mixed environments are particularly vulnerable during the transition period, especially. Imagine a scenario where a company's email system has been upgraded to post quantum cryptography, but their financial systems are still using traditional encryption. An attacker could potentially compromise the financial systems and then use that access to attack the supposedly secure email system. The disinformation and deepfake challenges are becoming particularly acute because they affect our ability to trust any digital content. Think about it. This is very important. Challenges are becoming particularly acute because they affect our ability to trust any digital content. Okay. Quantum secured watermarking systems are being developed to verify content authenticity. Whether if you see some reel on YouTube or on Facebook or on any social media, now there is a technology being developed. This is called quantum secured watermarking. And that is to verify the authenticity of the video or whatever that data is. AI-generated deepfakes are becoming sophisticated enough to fool most detection systems. More concerning, the tools to create deepfakes are becoming widely available. Even, even Photoshop also has that kind of capacity. I mean, it is not meant for fooling people, but it has that capability, right? More concerning, the tools to create deepfakes are becoming widely available like this thing, while the tools to detect them remain expensive and require significant expertise. Cryptographic flaws in watermarking algorithms could undermine our ability to distinguish between authentic and manipulated content. And this is about deepfake and disinformation. If attackers can break or spoof these watermarking systems, we lose our ability to trust digital content entirely. And that is what right now happening. The scalability of AI-powered disinformation campaigns is outpacing our ability to detect and counter them. Right? Automated systems can generate and distribute false information faster than human fact checkers. Or detection systems can respond. Even if you see fact check right now on internet, even the false or fake video also is being considered authentic sometime, and then after few days it is labeled as fake. Perhaps most concerning is the potential for quantum enabled attacks. Like we are adopting this quantum encryption, the hackers are using it for quantum enabled attacks. When quantum computers become widely available, they won't just threaten our current encryption. They could potentially be used to break quantum resistant systems as well. If those systems have implementation flaws or use algorithms that prove vulnerable to quantum attacks. Okay, this was about quantum communication. The next one is Internet of Things, IoT and collaborative systems. That is the slide number 13 we are on. When we discuss IoT and collaborative systems, we are talking about connecting billions of devices into integrated ecosystem. It is said that by 2030, estimates suggest that there will be about 75 billion IoT devices connected to the internet. Each one represents a potential entry point for attackers. Just imagine. The fundamental challenge with IoT security is that these systems prioritize functionalities and cost effectiveness over security. That is the problem. Many IoT devices are designed to be as cheap as possible, which means security features are often minimal or absent completely. DDoS attacks or malware infections represent the most immediate threat because of the sheer scale involved in case of IoT devices. We have already seen IoT botnets like Mirai. There was a case some time back that infected hundreds and thousands of devices and used them to launch devastating attacks on the internet. But future IoT botnets could potentially involve millions or tens of millions of devices. Imagine a botnet that includes not just home routers and cameras, but smart city infrastructure, industrial sensors, and autonomous vehicles. The potential for disruptions would be unprecedented. A coordinated attack could potentially affect power grids, transportation systems, and communication networks simultaneously. Network-based attacks against collaborative communications are becoming more sophisticated as these systems become more integrated. Attackers are developing new techniques for spoofing, phishing, and data theft that specifically target the complex communication patterns in the collaborative system. For example, I'll tell you, in smart factory environment, an attacker might impersonate industrial sensor to feed false data to control system or intercept communication between collaborative robots to steal production schedules and quality control information. Legacy vulnerabilities are massive problem because many IoT deployments include devices with vastly different security capabilities. There is no standard at the moment, right? Right now, there is no worldwide standard where these IoT devices can adhere to. A modern smart building, for example, might include sensors installed last year alongside systems that have been placed for decades. The weakest link in this chain often determines the security of the entire system. If a new, let's say if a new camera, CCTV camera is installed in a building of that building is maybe about 25 years old, and earlier there was a system, analog system was installed in the building, CCTV, and now there is a digital IP-based cameras installed. There is a weak link, right? So these kind of weak links Uh, and these in this chain, offer determines the security of the entire systems. Weak authentication in older IoT devices is particularly problematic. Many legacy systems use default passwords, unencrypted communication, or authentication mechanisms that were adequate when they were installed, but are right now they are broken by the modern attack tools. Sector-specific threats are where the real-world consequences become apparent. A cybersecurity breach in consumer IoT might result in privacy violations or financial loss, but compromises in critical infrastructure sectors like utilities, healthcare, or transportation could have cascading effect that impact public safety and national security. Consider a scenario where attackers compromise the IoT sensors that monitor a city's water treatment system. They could potentially manipulate chemical levels, disrupt water distribution, or even contaminate the water supply. The physical consequences extend far beyond the digital realm. Healthcare IoT presents particularly acute risk because the systems often have direct impact on patient safety. Compromised medical devices could provide false readings, deliver incorrect medication doses, or even be used to harm patients directly. The interconnected nature of this system means that a compromise in one sector can cascade into others. An attack on the electrical grid could affect water treatment systems, for example, uh, which could impact healthcare, which can also disrupt emergency services. What makes this particularly challenging is that many organizations don't have visibility into all the IoT devices in their environment. Shadow IoT devices connected to networks without IT department's knowledge or approval creates vulnerabilities that organizations don't even exist. Okay, so we are coming to the last slide. I will just summarize this in conclusion. As we conclude our journey through this landscape in the next gen communication, I want to step back and provide some perspective on what we have covered and what we need to do about it. We have examined threats that span from the global scale of satellite networks to the intimate scale of brain-computer interfaces. We have looked at AI systems that operate autonomously. Then we also have also
Aniruddha
seen.
sir, Aniruddha sir, extremely sorry to interrupt you in between, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, if we can just quickly summarize the same because our next international speaker has
yes,
joined. So we
yes,
have to start, sir, with the another session.
right. We are
Yes.
just concluding. This
Yes,
this
sir.
slide is
Yes,
the
sir.
last one. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. We examine. So see, we have. Sorry for this. Some because of the interruptions in between our sessions, some time we wasted. I was told that the next speaker has joined. So we'll just wrap it up. The I will just conclude with the foundation of the approach, what we call robust standards. We need industry-wide security protocols and frameworks that are developed in parallel with these new technologies, not as an afterthought. The security standards for 6G networks, for example, need to be defined before widespread deployment and not after we discover vulnerabilities in production systems. So in case of AI-driven defenses represent our best hope for keeping pace with AI-driven attacks. Machine learning systems for threat detection and response are already proving effective against traditional cyber threats. but we need to adapt them for the new attacks also. Uh, what we feel that to we need an international collaboration for this is critical for these technologies. Satellite network compromise affects everyone under its coverage area. Artificial intelligence powered disinformation campaigns can cross borders instantly. So we need that international collaboration. Brain computer interface vulnerabilities could affect people regardless of where they live. So what we need to do is we need to implement zero trust architecture, and which means that we must not uh, trust everything we have. We should that need to evolve. In a world of brain computer interfaces and AI agents, the principle of never trust and always verify that becomes more critical. Zero trust for BCI systems might mean continuous authentication of neural signals to detect manipulation.
Surely. And thank you so very much, sir, for the session on cybersecurity in next gen communication. So, you explained very well the new threats in the next gen communication, the risks that are connected with the systems, and how AI and cloud security can help protect these networks. Thank you so much for your time and effort, sir. And thank you once again for your
Thank
valuable
you.
contribution on this
Thank
FDP.
you. Thank you. Thank you
And
for inviting me.
pleasure is all ours, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And dear participants, our apologies for the technical interruptions during the session. Thank you for bearing with us and continuing to engage so positively despite this brief disruption. So, with this, we now move on to our session 8, which offers a global perspective on next gen communication. And it's my privilege to introduce Mr. Venkat Davrapalli, President and CEO of CES, a trusted global provider of technology and business process modernization services. Based in the United States, Mr. Davrapalli joins us as an esteemed overseas speaker, bringing with him a truly international perspective. Under his leadership of more than 20 years, CES has become a valued partner in delivering complex technology solutions and modernizing mission critical business processes for clients across industries. Mr. Davrapalli's career spans leadership roles as director at Decatrend Technologies, CEO at HCL HES, and founder of Computech Corporation. He is a proud alumnus of IMDR with an MDBA in Finance and Marketing and a Master's in Information Systems from Eastern Michigan University. He brings with him rich global experience in technology strategy, enterprise solution, and business transformation. We sincerely appreciate him joining us today from the Greater Chicago, adjusting to the time difference and graciously sharing his knowledge with us. We are truly delighted to welcome him as our esteemed overseas speaker today. Sir, over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, very happy to be here. I'm a alumni of IMDR, really proud to be here. And, IMDR has taught me a lot of things. Really happy to be share at least whatever I learned. By no way I'm a professor or a speaker, but what I mean is a lecturer. But definitely, I'm here to share uh, what's happening in the world, how enterprises are communicating, how technology is changing. I've heard the previous speaker. So, we are almost, every time we have some kind of a technology revolution, and I think we are in one of them right now. uh, AI is definitely changing how we are we're working, we're communicating, and want to really spend some time on that. What I'm planning to do is basically just to give you overall um, my perspective of how the next generation technologies and applications are actually changing our our communication, with throughout the world. India, the one good thing is India has become like a back office for the rest of the world. So we'll be surprised to see what we are. If you go to any city, almost any city, even smaller cities, you're surprised to see how our employees are talking to so many other countries in different languages and on working on different processes. And the technology is really helping in that process. So let me share, what I'm today, what I'm planning to do. Just let me share what I'm planning cover. One of the things that I was thinking is I want to really share how to use. My understanding is there are a lot of business students as well as faculty. I would like to share how I've been using Microsoft Copilot to communicate, to improve my productivity, to streamline my operations. And also will give you some examples. Hey, how do you use Microsoft a Copilot, Word? How do you use Copilot in Word? How do you use Copilot in Excel? The reason is this has really, it is like, it's almost giving a very powerful uh, productive weapon in each and every individual. And I've heard about it, but when I started using it, it's really blown. Oh my God, this is too powerful. And this is what I want to share. Is that fine? I know there are quite a few of them, but let me share my screen, what I'm planning to cover. On a high level, this is what I'm planning to do. Generally talk about what is my perspective on next generation communications and how um, um, simplifying communication through technology. And this is really interesting. Right now, we have reached a stage where you can take your phone and talk to any language you want, and also communicate. Like yesterday I checked into a hotel. Everybody's speaking Spanish. I gotten into Gemini. I translated what I wanted, and she understood in Spanish. So and this is so true. When I travel with some of my clients, they're using these technologies to travel. So that same thing can be used in business too. And other thing that I want to really talk about is how do you leverage AI, especially Copilot in everyday life. And then I'll just do some demo of how I've been using. I think the previous speaker was talking about these overall advancements of new technologies like 5G, Internet of Things, and satellite. So all these things really enabled now. You can talk to anybody in the world in any language. The other person can hear in the language that they want to hear. And so that and then because of this, there's so many tools where you can do real-time translation. You can also immediately understand, hey, this customer is saying this, what does it mean? Immediately we're able to get an answer. And so what is happening? So I think globally we already became a smaller village, but now we're able to understand not only the cultural and linguistic nuances of when we talk to the other person. So it just, it's the whole globe, because of these technologies, has become even a smaller family. So what does it mean? First of all, you right now, I've come across so many times, where my customers, they not only work with India, they work with Ukraine, they work with Bangladesh. Um, so they're able to, nowadays even a smaller company, earlier there used to be only big companies who can afford to do, work with remote teams. Now even a smaller company, even like a 10-man company, can work with somebody in Philippines. The same thing what's happening is with, I might be in my village in Andhra Pradesh. I can actually perform equally, be productive, staying at in any part in India, because the Wi-Fi is there now. And my customer wouldn't know. They're really focusing on my productivity than where I was. There was a time people used to talk to me only if I'm in my office in Hyderabad, but not anymore. My dad was sick. I was able to work out of my village for 2 months, and nobody knew the difference, because the Wi-Fi in a remote village is as good as any part of the country nowadays, especially in India. So these are this is the impact on. Basically, there's a lot more due to the technologies. There's a lot more collaboration and connectivity that is happening. So yeah, talked about there are now real-time language translation tools, and then this really helping with meetings. Now, what does all this means? Now, coming to real world, if you're using Copilot, I mean, obviously, I'm just giving an example, but you can leverage this. There are many tools right now. I mean, I've seen that a lot of the times my employees who are in India, they actually sometimes they don't understand what customer is speaking. They just record it, and they even do an real-time translation. And then, that's really helping. Nowadays, I go to Copilot and just turn on meeting notes. It's preparing the notes. It's actually telling, hey, who is talking, and then based on that, I'm able to create an automated agenda. It just creates. So what does all this means? It just improves the productivity. And similarly, emails. Now I'll just show you how it does. I'm able to log into my email, turn on the Copilot. It's I forgot. Hey, what was my recent communication with this client? I can ask a question. I can dictate. Yeah, it'll tell me, hey, these are the emails you got. Do you want me to put in a response? It'll go read all those emails, and it's able to give, yeah, maybe your customers ask for a meeting on this particular topic on automation. And I see that you're available tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Should I send a meeting invite? And if I say yes, it'll create an email with the meeting invite, and then I can review the response and then email. So I personally think, obviously, I'm using Copilot. I'm talking about Copilot. I don't work for Microsoft, but leveraging these tools have really can change your life as a teacher, as a student, as an entrepreneur. It can make you very productive. Efficient data collection. I just testing, hey, what should I want to give an example, as to what should I give an give an example. So yesterday I went to Copilot and I said, hey, can you give me, I did not go to it. I just went to Copilot and said, hey, can you download Google, Reliance financials for me? It just downloaded it. So yeah, I asked, hey, can you can you give me housing data for in Pune? Boom, it gave me the data. So earlier we used to do Google search, and then there was a lot of work we need to do to come up with some data like this. Now you just ask a question, you're able to collect data. Now, once you collect the data, obviously, one of the things that we learn in MBA is, analysis and insights. Now, you'll be surprised to see how effective it is able to do data analysis and, is able to give you insights. Sometimes we don't even think, it'll tell you, hey, oh, do you want to see the key insights from this data? And so these are the things. Obviously, you cannot be just a dummy guy to, leverage all this AI, but it also makes you think, give you different perspectives. I mean, this is all the stuff that I've learned: how to collect data, how to do analysis, how to look at insights in the data. This is all the stuff that I've done. I've learned in during my MBA. But now, if by just downloading a, a an Excel spreadsheet into Excel and turning on Copilot, it's able to do it. And this is some of the things I would like to show you. And then documents. So just to prepare this call, I mean, I've been using it just to prepare this call. I was just looking at, hey, what should I show? What? So yesterday I downloaded a 10Q from one of the for Google, and it's as usual, it's like a big document, 50 pages document, and it's able to download the whole data and just summarize it for me. And if I ask for a certain and then also just understand the key messages that that Google has done, it's able to do it. So reading large documents has become a lot more easier. And so you can do that using Microsoft Word. And other thing is, you might have a document in Japanese now. Somebody gives you a document in Japanese. Earlier, I know companies which used to have Japanese translators in Chennai. At least on a very high level, obviously, it's not as smart as human, but you can just take that document and then convert into readable English, and it's real time. So, and then that's why all these things are also now sitting in um, any part of the world. You can engage global audience. So my perspective is, hey, this is what is going on, and the best way to like overall, these are the big themes. I thought the best way to demonstrate is I'll just show you how I personally been using Microsoft Copilot and how it has been so productive. So recently, I'm working on, I went to my company, and I was talking to a client, and I had to help this client on cloud migration, and I have a lot of case studies within my company. So then, just to prepare for that, let me share my screen again. To prepare for that meeting, I've spoken to, we had a meeting and then we just looked at, hey, what are the things that we have, looked at all the cloud migration stories within the company. So I looked, this is real time, and then I saw that, hey, these are all the companies where I've done work and what work I've done. And I prepared all this and then I was about to prepare, I was preparing for the meeting. Then I said, hey, maybe I should use, now that I just got recently been using Copilot because everybody's talking so much about it. I said, hey, why don't I see what I can do in PowerPoint? So, and then I went to PowerPoint and I said, okay, create with Copilot. And I said, okay, I want to create a new reference file. And I said, this is the earlier I talked about the, if you look at in my previous, obviously AI is as smart as what you feed. And here what I did was I prepared a nice document where, hey, what are my case studies? And, like for each client, what I did, what are my references? And what is that I've done for each of these clients? So I said, hey, can you prepare a presentation using this? And I went there. I said, okay, can you create a presentation? And yes, I did that. And just look at this. I just fed that, and it is not that it went and just uh, uh, reformatted nothing. It actually read the document and created a very presentable format. And if I said generate slides, and it adds titles to the slides, it even adds graphics to the slides. And so I was able to quickly create a very meaningful presentation, which is actually pretty salesy. And I was able to actually present this to the client. So I hope you're able to see this. With a conclusion. So this is what is happening. Like for me to do something like this before, it used to take um, many days. I had to think about, hey, how do I format this? And then let me see if I can just do it in a presentation mode. Yeah. So now, it basically, yeah, slideshow. So this is the presentation it gave me. I did not make any changes. So, say that, hey, these are the client references for Reserve Club, what did I do in Azure? What did I do in, the data migrations and analytics, and what I've done. So this is the stuff, I think I was able to create just in like 5 minutes. And it did tell me that, hey, for Gibraltar, I did this very high level. For Mastercraft, I did this. And for Niagara, I did this. And, for Helena, I agree what I did. So this is how, it is able to be, we're able to be so productive in, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So so that is in that is what happened in Microsoft Word.
Stopped sharing the screen by now, right, sir?
Yeah, now I stopped. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that is in Microsoft Word. Now coming to sorry, that is in Microsoft PowerPoint. The next one is the Word. In Microsoft Word, I actually want to show you. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting. And again, I was, I mean, I was using it, but then I was just trying to see, hey, what I can do, what I can show for this class, and just so here, I turned on. I hope you can see my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I was talking to yesterday, trying to prepare. I was talking to Shika madam, hey, what should I do? And then I said, okay, there are some students. So I said, how about like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I want to start a coffee shop. So, and want to prepare a proposal. So I said, okay, can you can you prepare proposal to start a coffee shop? Because something like this took me like 3-4 months to do when I was in doing my MBA. And I just said this. So it automatically did this, and then I said, okay, if you like this, and insert, and just gives you this. So basically, it gives you a good structure, right? Hey, uh, and not only that, suppose if you say, can you suggest some names? And obviously, and it can you suggest it's also suggesting. And but the important thing is you can incorporate all this, hey, Brewhaven, Java, and then you can import, can it can incorporate into this one. And then, can you give me a business plan? So it's so now I need to, I want to create I can just take this to begin with, and now I can work on it, right? So now it just becomes a lot more easy for me to think about it. Hey, what are the things? Just look at. I'll insert this now, and there is some garbage, but it picked some. Hey, what are the steps? Executive summary, business description, and then if you give your ideas, like earlier, like I said, how I fed a document. So you can actually just do some notes. Then you can actually feed the document, and it will give you a financial plan. So, and this is what is happening with the with Word, and not only that, it's completely integrated into your into mm, um, into Microsoft Office. And if you want to draft a new, if you really look at it, see if you want to, it'll actually go read all my files, all my meetings, and see this is what I've been working yesterday, and if you look at what are my meetings today, these are my meetings today, and then I can and what are the emails I have? These are my emails, so I can actually choose to reply, and I can actually ask AI to read this email, prepare based on that. Can you prepare um, a response? So this is another thing on the Microsoft Word. So you can actually use it to summarize, create documents, and these are the big tickets that you can work with. Again, I'm really touching very, very basic things that are already there, but how productive it can be. Then, then you have one more tool. I'm sure Microsoft Excel. Everybody is already amazed at Excel, but it's interesting to see um, how it is, how Copilot is able to really help with Excel too. So now again, I'll share my screen. Again, here I just just for this speech, for this talk, I I downloaded one dummy data. Basically, this is again I downloaded from Google last night, and then just to show what it can do. This is an Excel spreadsheet that you have. Then I'll they have Copilot here again. So once I turn on the Copilot on the right side, it's already reading this data, and it's asking me, it's suggesting some questions. It is saying, discover some insights. So something like this, right? When you get data, this is to take, sometimes sometimes days, sometimes months, depending on the person's capability, understanding. But now for it to just read this data, it just see this, now I can insert a pivot table, and there you go. It took the data and said, hey, this is what it is, by country. These products, if you look at it, your Paseo has really sold, around 6 million in United States, America. Canada is 7 million. The overall is 3. So it's giving that. Now, not only that, it's even saying, hey, do you want percentage total by a suggested question, right? It just gives that, and then look at that. it gives a map, and then insert a so look at what it's. I'm just doing it live now. I did not prepare for this. What I did is only downloaded the data. Now I'm just going with what it's saying. Just imagine the power now. If you give something like this to earlier, there used to be a team for a CEO to do all this. But now, if you give the raw data to the CEO of the company, he will just play around, and he'll say, "Yeah, in October, these are my sales, and then like that, and then it gives you other sessions." So, using Microsoft. Microsoft itself is a very, very powerful tool. Now, with Copilot now, anybody can become a Microsoft expert. And you can analyze data. So that is another really the power, that I've seen, how these are all and for me, this is all game changing. I've been noticing, I've been noticing, I've been using Microsoft for the last, I would say, 20 years. But And I'm always, how we are all impressed, right? The Teams, I thought, was a revolution. When Microsoft Teams came in, all of us are able to now do this call because of the Teams. Now, but with the Copilot, uh, you know, it's almost like we got now 10 10 hands and 10 legs and maybe 10 heads. That's how powerful it's become. And then one other thing that I've been using, and I did this yesterday, to just show, and I think I want to show you how I've used Copilot yesterday, and very impressed with what the data. I never used this part of the thing just for the to to demonstrate. I thought, okay, let me just use Copilot and see what it's capable of doing. And it's really amazing. If you look at, I went to Copilot yesterday. This is the Copilot, and I didn't realize that it's going to do this. I said, okay, let's say I want to get into real estate business in Pune. So I want to see. So let's say I said, okay, can you give me um, housing data in Pune for last 3 years? Earlier we used to go to Google and do all the search. Right now, I did not even go anywhere out. I'm right within my office environment, and I did this yesterday, and I was surprised to see the results. Okay, something like this, right? It used to be, we have to do a lot of research to do it. Again, I'm not saying this is accurate, but it is important to see that this is, it's, like, see, I don't know how many of Pune, maybe I used to live in Pune, but not anymore. Let's see, you can always see that, hey, it, it in 2022, 72,000, like, but were 90,000 units. Obviously, is this accurate? Whatever, it must have gone to the sources. But if, like, say, the sources are there, now you can actually go and say, hey, no, get me the data from this particular source. It's actually going to that source, and and automatically it's analyzing for me. Hey, this is what the trends are, and and it's saying, hey. It's even saying that, if you want to do something luxury and premium, go to Korean Park or Kalyani Nagar, Boat Club Road, Banner and Walker. I thought that's pretty accurate. So for somebody sitting somewhere wants to understand a Pune market, uh, just in 2 minutes, I thought that was pretty interesting. So, and then again, I did not even go to Google. I did not go anywhere. I just asked this question. Most importantly, once I do that, can you provide the table of the data? And it just creates a table. And you can take this data, put it in Excel, and you can manipulate it the way you want. That is what you have right now. See, to earlier to do something like this used to be our MBA project. When I was in MBA, I was trying to work on a project, then I'd go collect data, go to multiple places, take all that, tabulate it, and then come up with various insights, and then present it. That was my MBA project. Now, if the source is there, I'm able to do this almost in, like, in 5 seconds. So this is what I felt is very interesting. What's happening? This is in the Copilot within the Microsoft Office. Similarly, other very powerful tool. I'm sure all of you use email. That is another interesting thing. Now I switched into email again. Do Copilot, and if you say I want to chat. So basically, what it is doing, earlier this was, for somebody like me who gets so many emails. How do you, what is that you want to, look at? So um, because of the confidentiality of the information, I'm not going to play around. But you can you can actually see, hey, you know what is the recent email from TCW? The one my client. I can type that. It goes reads all the emails from the or hey. Uh, uh, Latest email from Julian, I'll say. I work with Julian a lot. Let's see what it just goes. I suppose if you're getting so many emails, so you can just see, hey, this is the latest email. And now if I want to reply, I can draft a reply to the email. It'll draft an email. When is this? It actually gave me a summary of this email. Hey, when is the rescheduled meeting? My client has asked for a meeting, and Julian replied saying that the client wants to reschedule the meeting, and it tells me, hey, this is what is happening. So this is the power of Outlook. So this is what is going on. I mean, I can take many examples, but this is what is going on with Microsoft Copilot. Um, I hope this is helpful, but just want to share, just show you that how AI is really changing things. And now I know that some of you are, are faculty. And then I was just thinking, hey, how can you really use, how can you use Copilot? And then, most of the examples that I've seen are like business, but for example, and like you'll be thinking, hey, how can I do this, right? So just again, I've prepared some notes. You can, use like draft documents, presentations. You can use it to streamline, basically all you can use your Copilot to streamline. So, like I said, Copilot is just a tool. There are many other tools, and you can use it to analyze data. And then analyze data means suppose you have all the data of all the students in a spreadsheet. And then it's now a lot more easy to analyze the data. Hey, who has done well, and there'll be like little bit of a sometimes we get biased, right? You might like a student you think has done very well. But now if you put all the data, this might give you. So, overall, I think you can really use this to um, not only improve your productivity, but you can also teach this to your students how they can improve productivity. So that's what I have today. I can take some questions, or if you have anything else, I can can I leave this to question and answers?
Thank you, sir. I would now request the participants to please post their questions in the chat box and requesting the co-coordinator to please present them before the speaker.
Requesting all the participants to please share the questions in the chat box. I'll prompt as soon as the question comes.
So meanwhile, our participants are typing their questions, sir. We have received some questions on our personal window, sharing it with you. So,
Sure.
so the first question is, how do you see tools like Copilot reshaping business communication in the next 3 to 5 years?
So important thing is, again, you don't want the new thing would be you don't want to sound like a co-pilot, right? But you please understand, Copilot is a tool that is available. Again, when I say Copilot, in this case Microsoft, but there are so many other tools that are available. Everybody can use it. You know, it's like hey, everybody has a nuclear bomb in your hand now. But how to use it is very important. And um, sometimes some of these things that is taking time now you can do it faster, but still giving it your own spin is what is going to make you smart. But remember that everybody has a co-pilot uh, at their fingerprints, at their on their fingers. So everybody can use it now. How smartly you can use it is important. And it's just mind-boggling. Basically, what's happening is what is Copilot? I don't know. For example, what is AI, right? AI is they went and trained. They took all the why is able to AI is able to give because they actually went and took all the data in the whatever is there on the web. If, for example, if Copilot is a big monster, they went and fed all that data into that monster, and then it's able to give answers. So first of all, AI is able to do it only because the data is already there. But then, however, the other questions are extremely valid. You have to use guardrails. You have to think about is it ethical? So, but in this case, right now, please understand, I'm not using AI. I'm actually using a Copilot. Copilot is actually to put those guardrails in terms of, hey, what to show, what not to show. So it can be biased. They hallucinate. Sometimes they give you we saw some garbage in some language which I'm not sure. So those things are there. Um,
Sir, in the meantime, we have received one of the questions from the participants. So they wanted to know that with quantum and AI, how can we design systems where trust, authenticity, and privacy are guaranteed?
yeah. So very, very broad question. The first of all, like in this Ankit, in this case, right, I'm using Copilot, so I'm actually trusting Microsoft to do all this for me. But you, but in this, but for you, you can go in and you don't need to trust this. Hey, you can look at it. I don't like this. For example, right now, why there are not just one model? There are multiple models. My Facebook has got their own model. Gemini has got their own model. OpenAI has got one model, and Copilot using OpenAI model. So right now, you trust with one model and then you work on it. But now, depending on what the outcomes are, you need to use it. But yeah, can it be can it become a there a dark side to it? Yes, there is. In fact, one of the reasons why Microsoft abandoned their whole artificial intelligence team and went to OpenAI because their model was giving garbage. So these models are only as good as what you train them. These models are as good as the guardrails that you put in, the governance that you put in.
That's true, sir. And with the previous session on cybersecurity, this question also came to my mind about the security aspects because as you mentioned, that a lot of training needs to be done. They're building their own models. So there is a threat to, data which we are sharing with on Copilot mode or even with any of the AI. And further to that, one of the participant also wanted to know that how do you validate the data provided by the co-pilot? Security aspect is one, but how do you validate the data? I mean, is there any need to
Yeah.
validate to do that?
No, 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 those are all very, very valid questions. Please understand, this is only a tool.
Hmm. Okay,
And yeah, like when we do a Google search, I'll give you one example. Um, I go, mm, I go to a social, I go to a meeting. Nowadays, this is happening, right? Even in a social gathering. Someone says, hey, Everest is the highest mountain. And the other guy says, no. And then I just Google it and I show him the Google saying that Google said Mount Everest is the highest peak. 90% of the people, they're believing it.
that's good.
And that is the reality.
Yes, sir.
For all you know, Everest might not be the highest. Somebody saying Everest is not the highest peak. So that is what is happening, right? It's not anymore. Yes, I'm not saying that like I have some symptoms and I don't go to the doctor. I want to know what is happening to me. People are just putting in your symptoms and then people just believe whatever Google says. That's what's happening right now. So this is these tools. We have to be very skeptical. I don't say that this data, like I said, this data is as good as what you train, and each model is training it differently. So ask the same question to multiple models, you get a different answer because they've been trained differently.
That's
Sometimes you
true.
get the same answer because they're going to the same source.
Yes.
So that kind of criticality, that some people, someone asking, hey, are you going to lose your critical thinking? Um, yes and no. Hey, that's the reason why we don't let our kids, we don't give a smartphone immediately, right? We take some time because we know that they're going to get addicted to it. So there are really um, there's other side of all these technologies. I'm not saying these are like hey, it's all going to be good. There is going to be a lot of other downsides to it. And
That's true,
but
sir.
the question is, um, hey, as a student, you have to learn how to use it. And I personally say, please use it. Please use all your tools to do your research because tomorrow, when you go to when just 1 second, please. So when you when you go to work, they expect you to use some tools to
Hmm.
perform. It is a minimum expectation. Um, how you have to you have to learn to use these tools, and at the same time, you should not sound like you should use them, but you should not sound like AI. You should not sound like a chat GPT.
That's true, sir. That's true,
So
and that's why.
that's where your critical thinking comes. The other
Hmm.
question is, yeah, Copilot and add-on. Yes, it is I think there are some versions are free, but it is yes, Microsoft wants your money every month, and that's how it's become $1 trillion company. Now every company wants your money every month, a monthly subscription. I'm sure there'll be a day, there'll be a day where they want your money every day. So the company which figures out how to take money from you if you build a company, how to take money from everybody for 1 month, you'll be Microsoft, you'll be Google, you'll be, yeah, but obviously they part their money? Yeah, if you're useful to them, they will do it.
So this is a very interesting question. Like, which industries do you think is most disrupted by this next gen communication, or even in AI tool? I mean,
Eh, eh,
be it education,
I'll tell you one
healthcare,
thing.
global trade.
Yeah, um, for example, education, right? now um, it's a challenge for you, for the teachers. Every paper that you read now, the English will be so good because that guy is used AI to write their document. So those are the challenges now. But like I showed you, hey, you can now create you can just basically create a business plan. You can go get data, you can insert data. So you can, to create a very meaningful business plan, it'll take maybe 3-4 hours. So that is the power from one perspective. Other perspective is how accurate is it? Is the guy critically thinking? Is he dumping whatever he got, or is he analyzing? Is another question that you get. And then, uh, um, mm,
Like you mentioned,
I mean, I would say all the this is like how internet is challenged almost all the industries. AI is challenging every industry: education, healthcare, global trade. Healthcare. The other day, I was speaking to one guy. He said, I went to the doctor, he could not diagnose, but I put all my data in the AI. The diagnosis I got from from AI was accurate. Now, whether to trust him or not trust him is a separate question. But that is happening. Did you ever put your you go to a blood test, take the sample, put it in AI, and see what recommendations it comes with, and go check with the doctor. Don't see what doctor is saying. So that if you say that, hey, the AI is as good as a doctor, why would you go to a doctor? Again, I'm not saying the doctors are not important, but that is what is happening. Like I give you an example of Google. 10 years, 20 years ago, nobody trusted Google. Now we trust it blindly. I come into any city and I just put directions, and that guy, and I give it to the local driver. That guy is taking to me, even in Mumbai, even in Pune, even in Delhi. And is it right? 90% it is right. That's why even the driver is trusting Google directions, Google Maps. So obviously these tools have to develop trust. Um, and then my question is, they are going to develop trust and we will use them. So whether you like it or not, they're going to be there. Whether you're in education, whether you're in whether you're a student, or whether you're in business, these tools are here to stay, and they're going to become part of our life. As humans, as smart humans, we have to figure out how to use them.
That comes to the next question regarding the ethical challenges of AI. So there's a statement: AI co-pilot enhance communication, but also create ethical challenges. And how?
Yes, yes, you will have, right? As a teachers, your student has actually created the proposal using Copilot. Now, I want to ask that question to you. What would you do? Are you going to give him good points because you use Copilot? Are you going to say that, hey, are you going to, are you going to give him 0 points because you didn't use Copilot? Or are you going to give him 100 points because you use Copilot? Answer is both.
We usually take Viva that whether
Yeah, so,
it's written whether the person is aware or not. So
yeah, explain the concept and logic. Hey, like Bandali said, yes, you explain the concept and the logic. Yes, the guy, if he's able to explain it, then you give him the mark. So ethical challenges will be there. Many are there. I mean, that is something that we have to figure out how it's all going to be panning out. But my only point is, this is a tool that is there. Like the example I'm trying to give is, this is a tool that we all have to use it for everything.
so with this, I'll hand over to Gopa. Gopa, you're there?
Yes. So, sir, some more questions that we have received. So someone has WhatsApp and asked about, I'm sure this must be a professional. So how can professionals keep their communication authentic while using AI support?
Exactly. This is very important, because it, we all we all sound different, right? We all make mistakes. Um, my suggestion is use it as a tool. Do not, if you start to use Copilot, if you use Outlook for every um, for every response, you sound like a machine. You sound too good. You don't sound authentic. That
Right.
humanness is gone. I would use it. I would use it as only where I can, but definitely, like I told you, right? The best example is, when even Copilot is as good as what you feed it. If you say, hey, give me a presentation, it will give a very, very generic presentation. But if you feed good information, it comes with a good presentation. So at the same time, so that critical thinking is not lost yet. I don't know what is going to happen in the future. I really do not know. This whole AI was a concept 30 years ago. To see that, how it came into reality is mind-boggling. And now, uh, you know, uh, we all have to be on top of it, like uh, there's someone asking, hey, well, what MBA students, what should you do? I personally think, hey, play around with multiple models, this is what I would do. Now that now that getting data is very easy, don't use don't depend on one model. Try multiple models. And so earlier, to prepare I'm just answering this question MBA student was asking.
Mhm.
Earlier, it used to take 3-4 months to prepare a project proposal, but
Right.
now it will take only one day. So what does it mean? But as a student, just prepare the same proposal using multiple models. What happens is, then which is a better tool. Maybe one tool is good for uh, financial industry, one tool is good for, again, depending on what industry you want to get into.
Mhm.
You need to understand, hey, you need to understand what tools are there, which model is good for your industry, which model is good for analysis, which model. So I would say just play around and see what is available. At the end of the day, for businesses, if you're going to businesses, every business has to adapt to AI, because they have to compete with others. For example, when Amazon started online bookstore, all the bookstores that adapted to online, all the bookstores that have started online selling survived. People who did not add that, who kept on doing only brick and mortar, failed. A taxi driver who adapted to Uber survived. So if you have not adapted to Uber, your job is gone.
Absolutely.
And then again, why? So people play around, right? They do Lyft, they do Uber, they do, then you have to figure out, hey, what is going to help you? But with Uber, you got a lot more freedom. So
Mhm.
what are you going to do with that time is another issue, another topic. So with the technologies, definitely this is going to change the way we are looking at things. Again, at the end of the day, please see that this is just a tool that is available, but this is a tool that we all have to learn if we want to be in the marketplace.
So you're giving a big takeaway for the students right now, because you said using multiple models. Now I'm sure correcting the assignments will be much tougher for us So we move on to the next questions.
Teachers also should do the same.
Well, we need to be edging over them
Yeah.
for sure. So there is one more question that has been asked. Can you share some real example in which Copilot has helped in better decision making?
But personally, no, I think, but please understand, Copilot is like a Microsoft Office, and it is just a sophisticated Microsoft Office, and uh, better decision making. Yeah, can you? You can. No, not real. In okay, I'll give you an example. I'm not talking about business, right? I'm just talking about so far how I was really impressed. Recently, a friend, I was in California. Somebody came to visit me in Chicago. I wanted to, hey, he come from a flat land. I said, okay, hey, you know what? He said he wants to meet. Can we meet in a cafe? Then I asked Copilot, can you give me a cafe with a ocean view in this particular city? Boom, it gave. So, for something like that, I used to go to Yelp and look at the restaurant, look at the views. It used to take me 15 minutes. Now it just with one this thing, it gave me saying that, hey, you know what? These are the two places. One is on the ocean, other is has got a beach view. And then so it just really has helped me save time. Whether did it help me with like, for example, I'm trying to, for me as a CEO, I'm still trying to figure out how do I go to my clients. I help clients to implement AI. So that I've been working on, but the AI did not help me on that. But I'm going to clients and telling them that, hey, this is the way, this is the strategy you should implement. This is the model you have to do. This is the this is the training we need to do. But I personally, this in my experience, I have not used AI to make better decisions, but I've made some good decisions and decisions much faster. And I think there's a question on digital divide between developed and developing countries. I think this is really bridging that gap. Now, a guy in Africa can understand you. I mean, it might take some little bit time, but they can understand you. The other, yeah, I mean, these are the questions even I personally answer. I really struggle with my own kids, how much they should use hey, is it really helpful or not helpful? But the answer is I cannot take the phones away from them. Can I, because they're not going to be, if they have to make a living, they have to make a living in the corporate world. They have to they have to learn how to use technologies. They're not going to be living in a forest. So these questions, I personally, they're like too big for me to answer. I personally struggle with that. I personally, with all the new phones, with the new technology, social media come in, I, I I have some no time. I personally go on long hikes so that I don't use my phone. So those are all those personal questions. It's very independent. Obviously, is it going to be bad or good? It's the same thing. Hey, is smartphone good or bad? I'm sure answer, 50% will say bad, 50% will say good. But can you live without them? None of us can live without it. And the same thing will happen with AI too.
Right. So let's take the questions that are there in the chat box right now. So one of the questions that has come from the participant is mentioning, is communication going to be totally remote or contactless? That means no human touch around in the next 10 to 15 years, and how do we see it on a corporate basis?
It's already becoming one, right? Now, when we go to every company has a bot now. I personally created one for for my own company, and it didn't take much time. I'll share what I did, and it is very powerful. I did something called smart case study central. This is if you look at it, this is the one we did, and this is a bot. And when I created this, it goes to my website, it goes to all my case studies, answers. So everybody has a bot now, and that bot, can speak multiple languages, can answer most of your questions. The same thing with what we are, I can go and ask, hey, what case studies, it took me uh, just half a day to put this bot, but it took me 6 months to get the content. Okay, so if I just say Oracle case studies, earlier, if my sales guy comes in, if he wants to understand, hey, what are the work that we did, then I have to tell him, hey, go there, read all this now. You can just okay. It's yeah, I had to give my SharePoint connection, then I'll do that. But because this particular thing is not open to the public.
Meanwhile, the technical team is helping us with that. May I ask you a quick question, and let's take a poll on this. Which is your favorite next gen communication tool that you are using at present? Is it ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity, Claude? Okay, somebody has mentioned Gemini. Okay, ChatGPT. Okay. That's great to know. I mean, I think the student section basically is using ChatGPT, and I can see some of the faculty members mentioning that it is Perplexity. Good to see this mixed response. Okay, Copilot. Semantic, all right, great. All right, so somebody has asked this question: where should be the role of AI, and where should we avoid it as teaching professionals? I think Sir has already answered it. I think you already Sir mentioned that we need to be a little edge over the technology and be sharp enough to handle to various multi-models. All right, I'm still receiving the responses over here. I think the clear winner till now would be Perplexity or ChatGPT over here. And so somebody has shared a free advice over here. Gemini provides premium version for students for free. That's great. I think it is the double challenge that we had to face today. This speaker was an overseas speaker, and plus we had a little technological issues today. The glitches happened because of the entire the climate that is witnessing in Pune today. So I think we will now proceed towards the conclusion, and a big thank you to all the speaker, and I hope the team is trying to bring him back. All right, can we just hold for a minute? Team, can you please confirm?
Yeah, so somehow it got disconnected.
No problem, sir.
Thanks to the technology again, right? We're talking about the implications of technology.
True that.
Yeah.
So you were
Yeah.
sharing the entire question on how do we handle these next gen AIs.
Yeah. So yeah, so okay, like please, like I said, understand, I'm repeating myself, just use this as a tool. Please don't lose your touch. You're good. Yeah, you're good at some things. So when you're drafting an email, yes, use it for data, but then don't depend too much on it. You have to. It's the same way. Hey, if you use a cell phone for social media, you are pretty much you lose your identity. So we all have to not use it. It should not become we should not become AI. We should just use it as a tool. That's it. But it's very important but we have to learn to leverage it. We right now I cannot. There was a time when I still remember when people used to come to office, we never used to give access to internet. But can I say that now? There was a
No.
time when the cell phones came in, we did not, people had to deposit cell phones in the locker before they come in. Can I do that now? I cannot. So, similarly, when this AI, it's going to be one more tool in your pocket.
So with your arrival, is there one more question there in the chat box, and it mentions what new business models or revenue streams do you foresee emerging in from next gen communication networks?
Oh, yeah, so many of them. That is something I would say you should really focus on. And please understand, this is what I want to tell all the budding entrepreneurs. Answer is in your mind, not in my mind. If answer is with me, look in the Wall Street. Who are the rich people now? Why did Facebook go and hire a 21-year-old offered $100 million? If I'm as smart as him, no, I did not call. I did not get a call from Google. I did not get, the calls will come from you guys because don't underestimate what you're capable of and how you can leverage these technologies. My only take to all the students is this is your $1 billion opportunity or even a $1 trillion opportunity. Who would think that uh, Satya Nadella and Sundar Pichai would be running a $1 trillion companies? If you asked me this question when I was doing MBA, I would have said impossible. So my suggestion is just go play around. How you can leverage it. I cannot. Only thing is there's an opportunity. If you look at always look at stock markets, right? It was the Intel. Then Intel made the chips. Intel and Cisco's made the chips. Then it is Microsoft. It's like the Microsoft made the software. Then it was Facebook which made the apps, and Google which made the apps. So the same thing is happening right now. AI chips. NVIDIA is really making chips now. They're a $1 trillion company. Who's going to be the next $1 billion? The guy who figures out AI. even Bill Gates could not figure it out. That's why Facebook came in. Motorola could not figure out the smartphone. It is Apple who figured it out. So that figuring it out, I can tell you one thing. If I know it, I would have already been there. But so what you guys, what you have capable. Only thing I can tell you, the students, is now the whole internet knowledge is at your fingertips. You ask a question, this AI is going and searching the whole data in like 1 minute and giving you the answers. And people are investing billions and billions of dollars to create these models, and that are being available for you for almost for free. Now it's up to you to take that and leverage that and develop income streams. And where you can do, my only suggestion is pick up very niche markets. That's where, like, for example, um, just for lack of examples I'm giving, if you can read an X-ray for a specific disease, like I can take an X-ray, I can tell this fellow has pulmonary tuberculosis or not, and then I develop a model. That model only specializes in, you give an X-ray, it'll tell you whether it's got pulmonary tuberculosis with 100% guarantee. Then that's it. There somebody will buy you.
Right.
So that is what you need to figure out. You need to take very critical, you need to develop a model and train it. That is one thing. And then leveraging, leveraging AI for other things is a normal thing. So that's where I say opportunity is really big. Now there's no difference between a kid in India versus kid in Africa to kid in US. No difference, because you all have the same access. You all have the same 5G networks. So earlier, the difference was there. It's not the difference. So it's a really a flat world, global network. Obviously, the more and more are coming now. We'll get a satellite phone, and then I talk in English, and you might be hearing in Spanish. Those things are also happening, and so it's already happening. So these are all the things that are coming in. So it's a little bit confusing. We don't know who is talking to us right now. Is AI talking to us? Is this guy is actually talking in English or Telugu? We don't know. So
I think there are so many questions that are still unanswered. I think we will take it from them and pass it on to you, sir, and get back to the participants. So many questions, but in the interest of time, we have to conclude. So thank you so much, sir, for such an engaging session. Your insights into technology and business process modernization, especially how global enterprises can leverage innovation to enhance efficiency and customer experiences, has given us a fresh perspective. So your perspectives on the global level on next gen communication, simplifying communication through technology and leveraging AI, especially Copilot in everyday life, along with the demonstration of live examples of the Copilot across the key applications, were particularly very, very insightful and interesting. And we especially value the international lens that you brought into the discussion, and we truly appreciate the effort you made to join us, during this time zone. And on behalf of the participant and the institute, sir, we express our sincere gratitude for your time, your knowledge, and valuable contribution that you have made to this FDP. So with this, thank you so much, sir. It was pleasure having you with us today.
thanks for the invitation. You really articulated very well. Sorry, like I said, I just wanted to be a little bit more practical than anything else, and I hope you all benefited from this session.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once again. So, dear participant, with this, we come to the end of day 4. And day 4 took us into the critical areas of cybersecurity in the next gen communication and a global perspective on communication technologies. The takeaways were immensely relevant in today's interconnected world, and we are grateful to our speaker, Mr. Anuruddha Pense and Mr. Venkat Davrapalli, for sharing their expertise with us today. And now we would request you to take a moment to complete the day 4 feedback form before you log off.